This program is powered by AIM Employers Association and Ogletree Deacons, a Feature Group USA production.
Hello, everybody. I'm Phil Brandt, President and CEO of AIM Employers Association. According to InsigniaResources.com, 57% of companies outsource at least one HR function to reduce burdens of overworked internal teams. And consider this. When thinking about compensation, outsourcing can save larger businesses up to $3,000 a month on payroll alone. Strap in. I'm about to get fired up on This Week at Work.
This Week at Work is the only show to pack workplace news, practical HR solutions, and timely insights into every 30-minute episode. From the latest rulings in the courtroom to the strategies unfolding in the boardroom, and from real conversations taking place on the front lines to spotlighting what similar companies are doing about the challenges they face, This Week at Work brings you the conversations that matter most to HR professionals and business leaders like you. Brought to you by AIM Employers Association and Ogletree Deacons, live every Thursday morning. This is your opportunity to connect with their experts and ask your burning questions. So what's keeping you up at night? Don't forget to download today's key takeaways and spark change in your workplace. All this and more on This Week at Work.
All right, welcome back and happy Juneteenth to everyone today. What a wonderful day to celebrate. I hope where you're at, it's a beautiful sunny day. And if you're listening to this program, I understand because you're one of many employers that is still working today, and that's why we're joining you. Only 39% of private employers actually celebrate Juneteenth with the day off. Obviously, we all understand that it commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. It started from Texas about 2.5 years after the Civil War ended. It definitely promotes freedom and justice in our communities, and it's a wonderful day to celebrate. But today, as we close out the month of June, we are going to talk about compensation. One more thing on Juneteenth. You know what? I wish it was celebrated on a Friday or Monday. Wouldn't it be nice if it was why do we pick a Thursday to celebrate a day like this? There must be a reason. Maybe you know it, put it in the chat. I just wish it was Friday or Monday. I like those types of holidays and give us a nice long 3-day weekend. But we're here to talk about compensation this month, and that gets me fired up. All right, according to zipdo.com, HR statistics, I'm going to share some numbers with you. Kris Gfell is our guest today. Kris leads our HR practices, and he is involved with everything HR for our AIM members. Good morning, Kris. How are you?
Good morning, Phil. Doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you back. I know you and I get a chance to work together every day, but our members don't all get to work with you every day and get that pleasure. But Kris, I got some interesting stats here. I'm going to just go on a little rant for a minute. HR people, I get it. It's difficult for us to outsource. And many would like to outsource, but I think there's this big issue for our HR professionals to go in and ask for help with outsourcing because many of their leaders believe they should be able to do it all. They just believe they're superheroes, and that's what I pay you for. Whether it's writing the handbook, whether it's recruiting, whether it's compensation, which is what we're talking about today. They just want to feel like you have the skills and ability to do that. And I believe most of our pros do have that skill and ability. What they don't have is the time because we're strapped with the resources. But the average cost savings for compliance outsourcing for the HR function, according to Zipdo, is estimated between 20 and 30%. And anyone that's attended any of my programs know that I like to talk about things in what do we do to increase our sales and revenue? What do we do to decrease our cost? And then what are those things that we do to mitigate our expense? Well, right there, when we're talking about an estimated savings of 20 and 30%, we're decreasing our cost while we're focusing on outsourcing HR functions. 78% of companies that outsource HR report compliance with improved compliance with employment laws. 78%. Kris, talk to me a little bit about why you think that number is so high.
Well, I think there's a couple things there, Phil, that stand out, and we hear this a lot from people, and I think it shows in some statistics. Is there's the efficiency that's created is pretty significant. I mean, you go back to the 20 to 30% savings, and where some of that is really justified and created from. It's the efficiency of it, right? You can get in a project and then you can get out. It's not something that needs to be long. You don't have to employ people. You don't have to worry about everything that comes with. Not quite sure if somebody can, do the job that, they told me about up front when I interviewed them. No, you've got an expert coming in, get out. And you have that efficiency there. Plus, you talk about experts coming in and compliance. And we know compliance is just the name of the game. It's huge.
Yeah. Particularly if you have more than one location, right? I mean, you just think about neighboring states, and I'm going to use the state. I live in Missouri, neighbors Illinois, 15-minute ride, I'm in the state of Illinois. The compliance laws are completely different. And often I'll have employees or we have businesses in multiple states, and we got to deal with those compliance laws, and that gets complicated. But here's what happens, in my opinion, is I get busy doing everything else. I get busy dealing with the employee relations issues that walk through the door, or the problems that we're having with recruiting, or a various number of other issues that happen on that particular day. And my compliance efforts kind of get pushed to the side. And compliance can be, we're talking about keeping your handbook up to date. We're talking about keeping the policies up to date. We're talking about compliance training that's going to take time and resources to pull people off of the job and get it done, and let alone make sure that the things that we're doing in the space of compliance get documented and in employee files and all these other things that we do, regardless to how we're doing it with technology or not. And that becomes an issue. And therefore, compliance often gets pushed to the side. But when I ask business owners, the number one thing they tell me they expect their HR team to do is keep them in compliance. Strange. Anyway, all right. Next thing here, Kris, is retention rates are higher versus those who manage HR internally. And that is absolutely true. It's amazing. We know two top issues for us is recruiting and retention. And if you can then allow yourself to focus on the things that affect retention, by getting rid of compliance issues, taking the payroll burdens off of your plate, whatever those other issues are, and then you can focus on retention issues, developing managers, supervisors, the type of workplace programs that need to retain particularly your high performers. One of those is compensation, as we know. Then that allows you to maybe improve the retention rate that's going to help you also keep your cost under control. Companies that outsource the HR function see an average employee engagement increase of 15%. And I know Tanya Zion, our employee engagement expert, is listening to that and probably laughing at 15%. Wouldn't you say, Kris?
Yeah, there's no question about it.
If she was only held to a 15% improvement, I think she would think she had easy street.
No doubt about it. That's a low number.
Yeah, so I really question that number in particular. I think is quite low. But Kris, what you and I want to talk about today, as we talk about HR outsourcing, is compensation. And in my opinion, outsourcing compensation activity is almost an imperative today, unless you're the type of organization that has internal compensation expertise, which many don't have. And even when they do have it, this is the big misnomer here in my mind. When I worked in large corporations and we had compensation experts, even those experts were outsourcing it. Right? We'd hire someone, we'd pay them over $100,000 to manage compensation, and then they were outsourcing elements of their compensation responsibilities anyway. And then I see small businesses, trying to go, let's see, what should that be today? And it just baffles me because it's the number one thing that helps us manage our cost, create the right type of attraction attraction to our workplace today, and also helps us retain those people that we must retain. Anything you want to add to that, Kris, or should I get off my soapbox
No,
for the
Phil,
day?
just no. I'm with you, and this is the hot topic, and this is I think, and it's right. You get fired up about it, and I think our HR leaders that I talk with, it's the same side, and what comes out is when we look at all of this, it's the time and where do you make priority, and that's a struggle because you balance from what do my leaders expect, but what do my employees that I'm supporting also expect? And so you have all of these, and then it's that retention piece that really comes back. It's a web to weave on a daily basis.
Yes, that's well said, and I know you talk with more people than I do on this particular issue, but nevertheless, stand up for yourself if you think you need it. If you're a business owner or business leader, recognize that your HR pros, if you have one, they're not able to do all these things. To be a jack of all trades and be an expert in these areas is really difficult, and it's quite unfair, to be honest. Pick those priorities that are most important to you internally, and then look for resources externally to get you the help. And with that, I think I'm going to step off my soapbox, Kris, because I understand that you and producer Nick have put together a list of questions. Our audience knows, as you know, I like to ask Bert questions. He gives us answers. Often tells us it depends, but you and producer Nick are going to try and stump me today. Is that what I understand?
That is exactly right. We figured we'd flip the script on you a little bit, Phil, as I'm coming in today, and you know what? Let's do something a little bit different, because I know you put Bert on the spot pretty much every week with some of these questions, and it's fun to watch. So we figured let's have a little fun with you too.
All right. Well, before we do that, producer Nick, take it away.
Level up your HR game with an AIM Employers Association membership. Get 24/7 expert support, exclusive training, and a network of peers. Join thousands of HR leaders building better organizations. Call AIM at 800-948-5700 or visit aimea.org today to learn about becoming a member.
All right, Phil. So what we've got here on the screen for you is our top HR services from requests that we've had come through and support for our members. So this is year to date, right? So through May, and it's the top four. Right. So what we want you to do is rank them. Where do you think they fall 1 through 4, or start with number 4? And what do you think is the lowest one before you get to the top?
Yeah, this does put me on the spot now. A little different than I always set Bert up for success. Kris, take a good note here. You want to set your boss up for success, right? And I always set Bert up for success as my partner on this program. And I feel like I'm being put under the pressure here because all I can do is guess it wrong. If I guess it correct, everyone's like, yeah, well, we would expect you to get it correct. It's your business, Phil. Don't you know what's going on? If I get it wrong, I look really silly. So I am feeling a little pressure here. Here we go. Here we go. So the number 4 reason people will seek our help, I'm going to guess that to be year to date. I'm going to go to recruiting and talent acquisition year to date because recruiting and talent acquisition seems to be a little bit slow on the hiring side for our employers right at the moment.
Nick, what do you got?
Hey, that's a hamburger helper, HR helper.
Some HR helper there. Absolutely. Yep.
That
you
AI
are
generated, Nick. All right. Am I now? Do I number 3 here?
Number 3. Or if you want to go to the top, Phil, this is for you here. If you want to let's set you up to succeed. If you want to jump to 1 and you say, I know what 1 is, because
I like the process of elimination. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to take just like when I was taking exams, I'd just guess. I'm going to go with my guessing of process elimination. All right, HR consulting and support number 3. Hey,
one more helper.
2 for 2. I'll go to handbook and policy updates as number 2 request. And by process of elimination, compensation benchmark. And for me, that was easy because, I mean, we've given thousands of compensation benchmarking already this year. So that one
Yep.
makes complete sense to me. But I will tell you the other three, other than recruiting, somewhere between 2 and 3, I wasn't sure. That was a good guess. But
Nope, you did well. And Phil, you know our business well. That's that's a key thing here. You and I, we're in tune with each other, and I think it comes through here. But yeah, you're right. When you look at these, and I think when I see this and I look at numbers, I kind of go back to where were we at in the beginning of the year when we looked at our survey, right? And we were in January in session here for everybody as our members, and talked about what leaders have are important to them. Where are they looking to the future? And I think it lines up quite a bit with where we see what our members are asking for support this year.
Yeah, and compensation makes good sense. And for those who listen to the program, and I know there's many that aren't members, AIM offers just some tremendous compensation resources that are bundled with their membership. It doesn't cost them any additional beyond their membership to get these resources. It's unlimited. It's a fantastic way for an organization that doesn't have the money to spend on full compensation services with Mikey Mac or others, but to get some guidance and support to still make a very informed decision. And what I'm always surprised with is when business owners haven't benchmarked their compensation in any way other than, the which way is the wind blowing, what's my neighbor doing benchmark that occurs. I'm always surprised with how surprised they are, how far off they are. And sometimes they're off on the high side, sometimes they're off on the low side, but in the aggregate, we want to be right in that zone for everyone, and pay attention to those roles that are most critical to us or most difficult for us to fill. So compensation doesn't surprise me with that. And should you ever need some help, Kris is the guy that you reach out to, and he'll be happy to help you. All right, Kris, so you got another one. I like when you and producer Nick work together. It made my job a lot easier this week, but it sounds like there's another quiz for me here, yeah?
You got it. So it's our reasons here why organizations are outsourcing HR efforts to AIM, right? And there's a few, but we're going to reveal these in a little different way. So it's there's no right or wrong. This is let's reveal what these answers are, and then we'll just talk a little bit about it.
So this feels a little bit like a Family Feud, right? If I
a little bit like that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So am I picking a door to talk about? Yeah.
That's right.
Great. Let's pick door number 5, producer Nick. You don't want to do it. Now, when I was in HR, that was probably my number one. There are things I just did not want to do. And I believe as humans, the things we don't want to do often, unless you're really disciplined, are the things that we will allow to be slipped and pushed off to the side. And if I'm an HR pro, as I was then, those were the things I looked to either delegate or push off to someone. But if you don't have the ability to delegate, then, providing an HR resource to do is better than not doing it.
That's exactly right. And I think, Phil, you're right. It is human nature. There are just things we don't get excited about, or it's not something that we feel is as important. So it just comes through as, well, if we don't want to do it, does it get pushed to the bottom of the list? And there are some really important things that HR pros have to focus on. We've talked about them, right? Compliance being one. And that's a big piece. So yeah, it's the reach out. Who can help and support? And that's where I like to go back and, when I talk to individuals, let's look at our membership and see what AIM supports you with that you have access to.
You guys are blowing up the chat line here. Listener Matt is already making fun of my face on the HR helper. That's funny. Thank you for that comment, Matt. I'm sure you mean it with love for sure. All right, let's go back to picking. Let's go door number 4. Change in legislation.
We don't know anything about this, do we, Phil?
No. Well, compliance, change. It's constantly changing. It doesn't matter who's the president, what's going on. We know that there's change always lying ahead of us. And that's hard, right? A simple change causes us to have to change our policies, have to change our handbooks, we have to change our systems. And the change is often not clear how to comply, right? They leave it then to case law to determine. So there's a lot of risk. And when we get into mitigating risk, the change in legislation is one that you got to get very right the first time, so that you're in a position not to put yourself in undue risk.
There's that. And Phil, I even had in, because this comes up when I'm talking with people, is how do you know? How do you stay on top of what is changing and what's impacting me, especially if you have, to your example earlier, people across state lines, right? You might have those that work in Missouri or Illinois or multiple other states. It's really hard.
It is hard, but that's why you have companies like AIM. We help you do that, Kris, as you know. Look, everyone's wanting to see what's behind door number one. Let's just pick door number one. I don't know if these are in order, but let's go right to door number one. The accidental HR pro. Yes. We meet those every day, right? You know who's the most common accidental HR pro in my mind? And I don't know if I would consider it accidental. It's the business owner.
Yeah.
The business owner, right? Even if they have an HR professional, the business owner is getting drug into all kinds of HR compliance issues, employee relations issues. If it's a family run and owned business, usually they start out by managing HR themselves. That's not why they got into the business. And then it's not until they grow to significant size that they add that resource, or they take someone. And I hate to say this, I absolutely hate to say it, but you're really good with people. We're going to put you in HR.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That is the worst person to put into HR in my mind. And the person that comes to you and says, well, why are you in HR? This is my favorite one in hiring. Oh, because I'm a people person. I don't hire that HR professional. I don't know what you think, Kris, but I just that's the worst answer to give in HR.
I am with you, Phil, and this comes into, I mean, we are business partners, right? Your HR pros are business partners, and you just happen to have areas of focus with people, with your resources around people. So yeah, I'm right with you.
Yeah, and we confuse employee relations with that.
Right.
All right, let's go to door number 3, Nick. Seeking expert assessment. Yes, for sure, right? To me, that's absolutely logical. You need expert assessment. And that's what you help a lot with, Kris. Let's go to door number 2. Emergency or crisis. Yep. What happens in that space, Kris? Tell me a little bit about what you're dealing with on emergency or crisis front.
Well, this comes in a couple ways. Obviously, it's kind of related when you get changing legislation. There's something that's happening, and we need to catch up, or before we get behind. But we also see this in ways where you may be audited, or you have a certification coming through, and you need to catch up. So it's an emergency for the business. And all of a sudden, you need support. It could be extra hands. It could be the expert side, where you need to get a job accomplished. And again, here we go back to capacity within the HR person or team to really get it done. And it's these, I need to do this. But again, like we said earlier, right? You have experts that can come in, come out, get the job done, help you move forward, and away you go. It looks like a positive for the HR pro at that time.
Yeah, the ones that where I see a lot of this as well is when someone is experiencing an unexpected leave, sickness, illness, maybe another reason, or a vacancy that they weren't anticipating in HR, and they don't want to fall further behind, right? They have important issues that they would like to manage. And where I see it become really successful, you've done a great job with this, congratulations to you, by the way, is when you're able to step in and help an organization manage their HR while we find a placement, right? So it's not like, well, guess what, we'll recruit for you. It's like, no, we'll manage your HR function while the recruiting is being done, whether you're doing that or we're doing it as part of the service that we're providing, but you're still going to manage the compliance. You're still going to manage the employee relations issues. You could be in the middle of benefits, open enrollment, whatever it might be. Those are going to be the things that when I see you help organizations with that, that's when I really become most proud. Because that's the crisis that they're in versus a planned project. And they're always so grateful. The compliments that we get are just amazing. All right, door number 6. Keeping producer Nick, he's juggling so many things back there.
That's right.
Thank you, Nick. All right. Buried HR team of one. That poor person that is an HR team of one. I don't care how small your business is. That's a tough job. Now, one person has to be the expert and do everything. And that's a tough spot. And we probably do more work for HR teams of one than we do for other organizations because of that. It's just wrong to think they can be an expert in all spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the biggest piece. And just with individuals that I'm talking to, on a daily basis, it is the laundry list of everything you're trying to tackle, plus the fire that comes in. As soon as you walk into the office or you walk into the plant, there's people potentially waiting for you. And all of a sudden your plans for the day are gone. And you're focusing on a different issue that you just couldn't expect. So you can get buried. It could be overall with different activities and priorities, or just every day, something that's working against you.
Absolutely. When I look at that, I'm like, help that person out. They're doing a fantastic job. They're doing their best, but they definitely need, the resources to be able to do the job in a way that it's expected to be done. And more times than not, when I'm talking with owners about this, I mean, they value their HR person. They're like, hey, I know that he or she is trying. I know they're doing their best. And we very quickly come to the conclusion that it's probably not possible for them to be an expert in all these spaces. It just isn't, not in today's world of compliance. And when we think of compensation, which is kind of our theme for this month, very few HR people are experts in compensation. Very few can do the math and have the resources that it takes to find the conclusion in the right position, and don't have the experience to call on. I know Mikey Mack, who we had on the program and did our recent compensation program for. I mean, when you have 35 years, 40 years of compensation experience, and you've seen everything that organizations have done over that time, that really makes a big difference. And you shouldn't expect that HR pro of one to be able to bring you that same value. It's just not. It's not reasonable in that way. Nick, are you making fun of the HR helper that the chat line is making fun of now?
I just thought everybody loved it so much. That's why I was a little late on that door number 6, is I wanted to get this queued up so people could see.
Yeah, you're just trying to make fun of me now. I get it. All right. Okay, so Kris, anything else you want to add, or?
No,
I feel like
I think we've covered some really good things this morning, Phil. And there's a lot to being successful as an HR pro, and a lot of things fighting against us. And again, I always go back to that's the AIM members. This is what we're here for, and this is what we want to help with.
All right. If you need any help in this space of HR, doesn't matter what it is, Kris will help you find that and help you either with our resources or also with some fractional HR support should that be needed. You can always reach out to him. If you are ready, you can download the Ready AIM Fire compensation cheat sheet that we have. Discover HR by the hour with AIM. Flexible, affordable, reliable. Get your HR support without adding headcount. We know how important that is today. You can check out all the things that Kris does at the AIM, AAIMEA.org HR consulting site that we have, and learn more about becoming an AIM member if you're looking for some of those very important compensation resources to help you make decisions should you not need full-blown consulting. Now, with that, go out and celebrate Juneteenth. and go be good to somebody. Take care.
Thank you once again for tuning in to This Week at Work. If you enjoy the show, please like it, share it, and make sure it's on your calendar every week. Ask your burning questions anytime and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover. Just go to hrask.org and be sure to leave a review wherever you catch our show to help other HR pros find us as well. We'll see you next week when we discuss what's happening this week at work.